So this is a movie by Uberto Pasolini, and I think I've seen his previous film Still Life, because it looked very familiar, but I can't actually say for sure if I have or not. Anyway, this is sort of a multinational production, but it takes place in Ireland. And the story here follows this man in his mid-30s who also happens to be a single father of a 3-year-old son. He works as a window cleaner and seems to be scraping by and doing okay. But here's the thing, this is a very simple and stripped down movie. There's really not that much to it, so I'm not even gonna go into further details about the plot here. Because what's actually going on beneath the surface isn't revealed until a fair bit into the movie. But there are of course things going on, things that drive the plot forward, that motivate character actions and whatnot, but in essence I'm just gonna say that this turned out to be a rather tragic movie. But the weird thing was, as tragic as the idea behind this movie turned out to be, it didn't really feel as sad as I would have expected. It felt a bit emotionally distant to me a lot of the time. And initially I thought that was a flaw in the movie, that it wasn't doing its job. But then a certain scene comes along, which on the surface looked just like another scene, similar to the ones before it. And I'm talking about the scene with the single woman in her apartment. And you know what? That just delivered the emotional punch this movie needed. And at that point we're probably close to an hour into a 90-minute movie. So yeah, it took a while, and as I was watching it, I still thought it took way too long to get me to really engage on that level with the film. And even after having seen the entire thing, I thought that was actually a problem. But as I was sitting there writing this review the next day, I realized it's actually sort of a genius move. Because the emotional distance the audience feels actually reflects the emotional engagement by the main character here. And having given this some thought, I think that was fully intentional, the way it handled it. Because that one scene that felt very impactful was meant to. It was meant to break through that barrier. The movie intentionally kept the audience and the main character at a bit of a distance initially, only to break through at the right moment and to deliver that punch it needed. Because as it turns out, that is indeed a key scene in the movie, and I initially sort of overlooked its importance. And if all of this was accidental, then it really was accidentally a stroke of genius. But I don't think so, and I'm gonna give the movie the credit I think it deserves for it. Because making a subtle and toned down movie like this, where not much actually happens, is not as easy as it may look, and is an art form in and of itself, and a lot of movies of this sort fail at it. Because these kinds of movies often end up feeling like they're not really about much at all. And a lot of the times they can even end up being boring, but this one definitely wasn't. It never lost me, and even before I realized just how clever it had been, I still liked it. But after having that epiphany, I like it even more and just appreciate it on a whole nother level. Now with that being said, it's not the most riveting or exciting movie. And to be fair, it's not trying to be, but for what it was, I very much enjoyed it. And I think it achieved what it set out to do and did it in very subtle ways. So, at the end of the day, I was debating what score to actually give it. And I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's a high 7. Boop. And if you like very subtle, toned down dramas, I would definitely say check it out. Or you could just skip it too, after all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic.